These are the 5 components which you require to write a good answer. Now this is the answer of the Animesh Pradhan which he wrote on the 18th of February 2022. That is at the beginning of his preparation. कोई भी question ले लो, you take any of the question across GS 1, 2 और 3 and 4 के चारों पेपर में कोई भी क्वेश्चन ले लो, आपके इंट्रोडक्शन इन्हीं 6 टाइप्स में से एक होगा. So the demand understanding of the question based upon that IBC framework, and for generating of the points, you will be using the answer writing frameworks.
I started my full-fledged preparation after I joined the Ultimate Assessment Program at Civilsdaily.
Civilsdaily. There is a 12-month strategy which I have done on Civilsdaily platform only.
I reached out to the Civilsdaily team.
Current affairs में Civilsdaily.
Civilsdaily. A mentorship program of Civilsdaily, and that did help me a lot.
Basically, the topic of the webinar is the art of answer writing. Right. So before we proceed, you must have some idea with respect to the answer writing. Right. Okay. Some basic idea with respect to the answer writing. So before I start, right, how you have to write the answers like a topper. Right. So let me get an idea with respect to your understanding of the answer writing. Okay. So anybody who wants to elaborate upon his idea with respect to the answer writing, or let me ask you a simple question. What is your understanding of a good answer in UPSC? Yes. Anyone wants to talk? You can simply raise your hand. I will unmute, or you can type it into the chat box also. So question is very simple. What is your understanding of a good answer in UPSC? Yes. Anyone? Anything? आपको जो भी पता है आंसर राइटिंग के बारे में, you can tell or you can type. Yes. All of you are aspirants, so you must have at least some idea with respect to the answer writing. So what is a good answer as per you? Has 3 parts: intro, body and conclusion. Okay, that's the first step of answer. What else? With good data points. Okay, so basically a content. So intro, body, conclusion is your structure of the answer, and data points can be considered as the substantiation part within the content, right? Understanding all requirements of question, that is parts. Okay. Maps, diagrams, graph to substantiate. Okay, that is also the substantiation part. Okay. What else do you require in a good answer? Yes. Okay, so if we see on the broader lines, so 2 things that you require in a good answer. One is the structure in terms of the intro, body and conclusion, right? So आपको लगेगा एक अच्छा structure. Second, you need the content, right? So on the broader lines, that is the basic idea with respect to the answer writing, right? But even if there are multiple students, okay, so in my experience of 3 years, I have encountered more than 500 students who, despite having the content, मतलब उनका content base बहुत strong होता है, and they are very hard working. So despite having the content and working very hard, right, they are not able to clear the prelims. Okay, so answer writing is not just about addressing the demands of the question and structuring it. Okay, there are 5 aspects of the answer writing which you need to understand and which you need to inculcate. Okay, and that is why the answer writing is considered as an art, right? और ये मेरा कहना नहीं है, you must have heard it, right? कि answer writing is an art. So why it is considered as an art? Okay, so that we will be discussing in our today's session. Okay, so first of all, these are the 5 components which you require to write a good answer. ठीक है. Detailing में I will go when we will start our the every aspect. So I will be dealing with the detailing of each and every aspect of this. But before that, you just need to learn the basics of the answer writing. Okay, so these are the 5 core parts which constitute a good answer. ठीक है. सो अभी तक आपने जो भी बताया कि विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दी अभी तक आपने जो बताया कि विच इज द इंट्रो बॉडी एंड कंक्लूजन एंड सेकेंडली द कंटेंट, राइट. सो द कंपोजिशन एंड स्ट्रक्चर पार्ट ऑफ द आंसर, इट इन्वॉल्व्स योर स्ट्रक्चर एंड योर कंटेंट. ठीक है. और प्रेजेंटेशन एंड डिमांड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. ठीक है. इसका डिटेलिंग आई विल इलैबोरेट विद द आंसर्स ऑफ द टॉपर्स आल्सो. ठीक है. The second aspect, that is the presentation. The third, creativity and innovation. Now what do I mean by creativity and innovation? कि आपने जितने टॉपर्स के आंसर्स पढ़े होंगे, ठीक है, इन ईच एंड एवरी टॉपर्स आंसर यू विल फाइंड द सेपरेट स्टाइल of that particular topper. Okay, so when we came across any of the answer of the topper, so immediately after seeing that particular answer, हम पहचान जाते हैं कि वो आंसर किस टॉपर ने लिखा है, राइट. सो दैट इज बेसिकली द स्टाइल, ठीक है, of the topper. So every topper has his own style of writing. And that own style, we call it the creativity of that particular topper. So हर एक टॉपर कुछ ना कुछ नया इनोवेटिव उसके आंसर्स में लाता है. Then, like you all said, the knowledge aspect, ठीक है, which is your content. And last is the practice. Even after having the thorough content, you won't be able to write the good answer if you don't practice the answer writing. Okay, now let's go into the detail of each and every aspect. Okay, now I just want to show you the journey of the Animesh Pradhan. ठीक है. So जैसे हम कहते हैं कि nobody is born a topper. ठीक है. Becoming a topper or becoming a successful person is a journey. ठीक है. You are not born a topper or you are not born an IS. You have to become it through your through hard work, through practice, and through the smart strategy. And now this is the answer of the Animesh Pradhan, which he wrote on the 18th of February 2022. That is at the beginning of his preparation. Right. So even at the beginning of his preparation, if you can see his answer. So here, जैसे आपने कहा कि the good answer contains the intro, body, and conclusion. Right. So that basic aspect is covered into his answer. Okay. So this is his introduction part. Right. Sorry. This is his introduction part. This is his main body part. This implications. Right. Up till this, his main body part, and this is conclusion part. Right. So even after and this in the content also, if you can see, there is a data. Right. There are few examples and there are few keywords like monopolization, but still this answer won't be considered as a good answer. Right. Because the structure, even though he has covered the intro, body, and conclusion, but जो structure चाहिए होता है good answers में, कि जैसे the aspects like the length of your point. अगर आप इसका इंट्रोडक्शन देखोगे तो इंट्रोडक्शन इज ऑफ 3 पैराग्राफ्स. बट अगर आप किसी भी टॉपर का कभी भी इंट्रोडक्शन, इफ यू सी, द इंट्रोडक्शन इज ऑलवेज ऑफ 1 पैराग्राफ एंड दैट इज ऑफ मैक्सिमम 3 to 4 lines. Right. Second, in main body. So in main body, though he has covered the demand of the question, but the dimension coverage. Okay, under every heading, he has written just 4 points. So if you see in a 15 marker question, the total number of points or the dimensions that he has covered are only 8. And conclusion again is of 5 lines. Right. So despite covering the basic aspects of the answer writing, that is intro, body, and conclusion, and addressing the demand of the question. Right. So out of 15, this particular question will get maximum to maximum 5 marks. Okay, but with practice, if you see, this is the answer of Animesh. Okay, after 1 year, where this is, we call a topper level, not topper level, but a rank holder level answer. Okay, so this previous answer was on 18th February 2022. This is after 1 year, that is 17th January 2023. Right here you can see the clear demarcation of structure. So introduction bhi agar aap dekhoge, that is just of 1 paragraph of 4 lines. In main body also, if you can see in 50, again this is a 15 marker question itself. So in this he has covered 13 dimensions. Right, so total आप देखोगे तो 13 points है, and length of the points also if you see, ठीक है, that is the 3 lines maximum. Right, 3 lines के beyond उसका कोई point गया ही नहीं है. यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे तो 5 to 6 लाइन का एक पॉइंट है और उसकी वजह से पूरे आंसर में उसके 8 ही पॉइंट्स है, बट ही हैज इंप्रूव्ड अपॉन दैट. ठीक है, देन देयर इज अ डेटा. Right, then apart from the data you can also see few of the examples. Right, so this is a rank holder level answer. With these kinds of the answer out of 15, you can get 6.5 to around 7 marks. ठीक है, सो जो बच्चे जिनका रैंक 200 के बाद आता है, so after 200 whoever gets the rank, the quality of their answers is this. I am not talking about the content. ठीक है, कंटेंट तक तो अभी मैं आया ही नहीं हूँ. ठीक है, आई एम सिंपली टॉकिंग अबाउट द स्ट्रक्चरिंग ऑफ द आंसर. ठीक है, इफ यू सी दिस आंसर स्ट्रक्चर वाइज इट्स फाइन, इंट्रो, बॉडी, कंक्लूजन, लेंथ of the points is also fine. Okay, but one thing that is missing into his answer are these aspects. ठीक है, इनमें से if you see there is no creativity or innovation, or presentation wise also this particular answer is weak. There is no diagram, right? There is no graph. So that is a rank holder level answer. But then after the mains, this is the last answer which he wrote after the prelims. Right, so just before appearing his paper or actual mains, he wrote this answer. ठीक है, यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे, so this is a 15 marker question where he has written 13 points, but this is a 10 marker question where again structure wise it's fine, but अगर आप presentation wise भी देखोगे तो in his answer there is a diagram. ठीक है, second, there is a proper classification of the points and total number of points if you count. Okay, apart from these 5, within these 3, he has covered 8, 9. So 9 plus 5, 14 points itself he has written into his 10 marker question. Right? So this is the level of the topper. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि he started writing in this structure only, and with this you can clearly see his own style also. So if you see any of his papers, वो तो public domain में available है, you can download any of the papers of Animesh and you will find his own style. ठीक है, so next time when you will just open the paper, automatically you will see, or you will be able to identify, okay, this is the answer of Animesh. right? So this is his own style of the presentation. Right? And second, with the proper classification and structuring, he has increased his dimension coverage also. So from, if you see कि जैसे from 8 points, ठीक है, he improved it to 14 points, right? And from 14 he improved it to the 14 points in the 10 marker itself. So this is the journey of Animesh, and for that what you require is not just the passive content building. Okay, so even if you, let me tell you, even if you have the content, हर एक subject का, even if you have your own notes or the PhD level content, then also without understanding of these 5 aspects, you won't be able to write good answers, right? So without understanding of the composition and structure, or the presentation, or developing your own style, okay, or practice, so simply by having the knowledge you won't be able to clear the prelims. So your knowledge has to go hand in hand with the remaining 4 aspects of the answer writing. यहाँ तक सबको क्लियर है? So before I move on to the detailed aspect of each aspect, यहाँ तक सबको क्लियर है? Yes. Any doubts till now? Is it clear? Okay. Perfect. So let's move on to the first aspect, that is the composition and the structure. Now in composition and the structure, if you see, okay, there are these 3 aspects. ठीक है, the first aspect is जैसे आप सभी ने कहा कि the theoretical understanding of the intro, body and conclusion, right? So the first aspect is your intro, body and conclusion. ठीक है, the second aspect is the demand understanding, that is addressing each demand of the question. ठीक है, and the third aspect is the dimensions framework, which will help you in generating the points, right? So without having the frameworks, you won't be able to write 14 or 15 points in a 10 marker question. ठीक है, now जैसे कि मैंने कहा कि it is an answer writing is an art. ठीक है, so जैसे this is the art form which is a painting. ठीक है, आप कोई भी, जितने भी ग्रेट पेंटर्स है, इफ यू स्टडी देयर मेथोडोलॉजी, और अगर इवन इफ यू आर अ गुड पेंटर और इवन इफ यू आर द हॉबी ऑफ द पेंटिंग, यू विल आल्सो नो कि देयर इज अ प्रॉपर स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ पेंटिंग. ठीक है, आप डायरेक्टली कलरिंग करना या फिर डायरेक्टली यू डोंट स्टार्ट पेंटिंग, राइट? बिफोर स्टार्टिंग यू जस्ट प्रिपेयर द रफ स्ट्रक्चर, राइट? सो रफ स्ट्रक्चर, रफ स्केच बना के ही यू go on refining it, and then ultimately at the last stage your good painting appears, right? Similarly here also there is a proper structure or proper methodology which you need to understand, and which we call as the brainstorming, right? So brainstorming aspect as in कि as soon as you read a question, कि suppose आपने कोई भी question आपने पढ़ा, ठीक है, so immediately first thing that need to come to your mind is with respect to the IBC, that is intro, body and conclusion. So immediately after reading the question, okay, so what is going to be my introduction, what is going to be my body, that is question के क्या demands है, उस accordingly what are going to be my headings in the question, and then how I am going to conclude. ठीक है, so that brainstorming part will involve structuring your answer and understanding the demand of the question. And the second part of the brainstorming is the generating the points based upon the framework. Again, this brainstorming part okay. So a 10 marker question you get around 7 minutes. A 15 marker question you get around 11 minutes. And this brainstorming, you get maximum to maximum 1.5 minutes for the brainstorming. So after reading the question, within 1.5 minutes, आपका इंट्रो बॉडी एंड कंक्लूजन तैयार रहना चाहिए, आपके हेडिंग्स तैयार रहने चाहिए, एंड बाय अप्लाइंग द फ्रेमवर्क्स विदिन मेन बॉडी आपके डायमेंशंस रेडी हो जानी चाहिए. And then in next 5 to 5.5 minutes or around 9 minutes, you will be writing the answer. ठीक है, वो कैसे करते हैं? तो अगर आप देखोगे तो दिस इज विदाउट स्ट्रक्चरिंग, ठीक है, और विदाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द स्ट्रक्चरिंग और IBC फ्रेमवर्क और द डिमांड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, योर आंसर इज गोइंग टू लुक लाइक दिस. वेयर अगर आप देखोगे तो इस आंसर में आपको पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि वेयर इज द इंट्रोडक्शन, वेयर इज द मेन बॉडी, कंक्लूजन फिर भी ठीक है, आपको पता चल रहा है एट द एंड, but intro and main body is not properly segregated. Second, within main body also कौन से दो headings है, right? The headings are also not reflected properly. जैसे there are two headings in this particular question. The first one is reasons for the fraud and the second one is this impact, but वो clearly segregated नहीं है, right? So because of that, क्वेश्चन का ना ही आपको स्ट्रक्चर समझ में आ रहा है, you are not able to understand whether the demand is also properly addressed or not, right? So यहाँ पे if you see, so IBC framework, ठीक है, so within IBC framework a simple introduction, main body and conclusion. So introduction also, so as soon as you read the question आपको पता चल जाएगा कि what is the theme of the question. So as soon as you read the theme and understand the demand of the question, accordingly you need to generate the introduction. ठीक है, so कोई भी क्वेश्चन ले लो, you take any of the question across GS 1, 2 और 3 and 4, ठीक है, चारों पेपर में कोई भी क्वेश्चन ले लो, आपके इंट्रोडक्शन इन्हीं 6 टाइप्स में से एक होगा. ठीक है, ये आपके दिमाग में एकदम फिट बिठा लो कि आपका इंट्रोडक्शन इज गोइंग टू बी वन ऑफ दीज 6 टाइप्स. Either it can be a quote or it will be a data, or if the question is on the concept it will be definition, or if the question is asking about any current affairs, so you will be giving the recent context or the news, that is the contextual introduction. If the question is asking the evolution of something, okay, so suppose if the question is highlight the evolution of Naxalism, so there you will start with the history of Naxalism, right? और अगर क्वेश्चन में कुछ भी इन पांचों में से अप्लाई नहीं हो रहा है, the last one is you simply rephrase the statement given in the question. So there are only these 6 ways in which you can introduce your answer. So as soon as you understand the demand of the question, immediately आपके दिमाग में ये 6 themes या फिर ये 6 aspects you need to brainstorm, whether to go for the definition or data or history or quote. ठीक है, this is how you inculcate the structuring of the answer. अगर आप देखोगे, if you see the toppers answers also, ठीक है, so this is the answer of Animesh and Aditya Srivastava. These two are the same questions. So first question is on citizen charter. ठीक है, if you see the answers of Aditya Srivastava and Animesh, so Aditya has started with definition, ठीक है, whereas Animesh has started with his history. कि citizen charter was pioneered in 1990s by John Major. Right, both are fine. ठीक है. Similarly, second question अगर आप लोगे तो question is same. It is on emotional intelligence. ठीक है, बट यहाँ पे अगर आप अनिमेश का आंसर लोगे तो यहाँ पे अनिमेश ने डेफिनेशन दिया है, whereas आदित्य श्रीवास्तव हैज गॉन विद द कोट. ठीक है, आप कोई भी टॉपर का कोई भी पेपर उठा के देख लो, यू वोंट फाइंड अ सेवेंथ टाइप ऑफ इंट्रोडक्शन. इन 6 में से ही कोई आपका इंट्रोडक्शन होने वाला है. ठीक है, एंड एज लॉन्ग एज योर इंट्रोडक्शन इज एड्रेसिंग द कोर थीम ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, whether you give the quote or history or definition, that is completely fine. So as soon as you read the question while generating the introduction, आपको इन्हीं 6 पॉइंट्स पे सोचना है. ठीक है, सिमिलरली अगर आप यहाँ पे भी देखोगे तो दिस ऑन द करप्शन. ठीक है, सो करप्शन में अनिमेश हैज गॉन फॉर द डेफिनेशन, whereas आदित्य श्रीवास्तव हैज गॉन फॉर द contextual introduction. ठीक है, सो रिसेंट करप्शन इंडेक्स. और लास्ट आपका जो होता है कि यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे तो आदित्य श्रीवास्तव रिसेंट कंटेक्चुअल इंट्रोडक्शन. सो द क्वेश्चन वाज ऑन ट्रेडिशनल थिएटर फॉर्म्स. सो व्हाट ही हैज गिवन कि रिसेंटली रामलीला मुडियट्टू वेर रिवॉर्डेड एज द intangible heritage and are already there in the UNESCO intangible list. तो वो करंट अफेयर्स बेस्ड या फिर कंटेक्चुअल इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया. राइट, और लास्ट वे कि अगर आपके पास कोई इंट्रोडक्शन नहीं है, इफ यू डोंट हैव द कोट डेटा और डेफिनेशन, देन यू सिंपली रिफ्रेज द क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, दिस इज द आंसर ऑफ इशिता किशोर. अगर आप लास्ट वाला अगर आप देख पाओगे तो यू विल फाइंड कि विथ एग्जांपल्स discuss how the cultural traditions from various regions of India get reflected in regional music. Right, so question is on the Indian culture and regional music. ठीक है, सो उसी को उन्होंने रिफ्रेज किया है कि India's rich and diverse cultural traditions are most evident in regional music of its motherland. ठीक है, इफ इन दिस यू कैन ऑल्सो गो विद द हिस्ट्री. अगर आपको रीजनल म्यूजिक की हिस्ट्री पता है, यू कैन स्टार्ट विद द हिस्ट्री ऑल्सो. और अगर if you have any quote with respect to the richness of India's music, you can start with that also. But अगर कुछ नहीं है, you just rephrase the question. ठीक है, so this is the answer of Ishita Kishore, again all India rank 1. ठीक है, and this aspect where you are just rephrasing the question, but still this introduction is not generic because of the keywords that she has used, and this comes only with the practice. Right, so the introduction part यही 6 पॉइंट्स में आपका आएगा. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट is your main body part. So in main body also, what you have to understand is the SCES framework. Right, so what is the SCES framework? SCES framework is simply the subheading, elaboration and substantiation. So आपका जो भी point होता है, right, so in the main body whatever dimensions you are covering, you have to ensure that there are 3 aspects to the every point. So पहला aspect is the subheading, where you are using the keyword or highlighting the dimension. Second, you are elaborating upon it, and third, you are substantiating it either using a data or example. Right, now what toppers do is in order to enhance their dimension coverage, so they have to limit the length of their points. Right, so अगर आप तीनों कवर करना चाहोगे तो it might happen that कि आपके पॉइंट का लेंथ is going 4 or 5 lines. Right, so what they do, they combine these 2 aspects, intro and elaboration. subheading and elaboration. Because they will simply give you one statement where they are using the keyword and they are elaborating upon it, and last they will substantiate. Right? कि अगर आपके पास substantiation नहीं होगा, suppose if you don't have the data or example to some points, so in that case you go with these two. You give the subheading and then you go with the elaboration. Right? And if you have the substantiation aspect, then you simply provide a statement which will cover your subheading and elaboration, and then simply substantiate. Right? अगर आप आदित्य श्रीवास्तव के आंसर देखोगे, so in this answer if you see, every point he has tried to provide the elaboration or substantiation. So first point अगर आप देखोगे तो the point is lack of adherence to the modern challenges. ठीक है, सो यहाँ पे उसका एग्जाम्पल है उसके पास. सो व्हाट ही हैज डन, इलैबोरेशन एंड सब्सटेंशिएशन के लिए एक सिंगल स्टेटमेंट दिया है, then he has provided the substantiation with example. But if you come to the second point, so in the second point he doesn't have the example. So here what he has done, he has given the subheading and he has elaborated upon it. Right? Again third point अगर आप देखोगे तो he has the example for substantiation. So what he has done, he has simply mixed his subheading and elaboration, that is corruption rampant despite reforms, and he has substantiated it. Right? So depending upon the content that you have, what you have to do is you have to use the SCES framework. ठीक है, ये क्लियर है how you have to write your points. ठीक है, any doubt still now? So how you have to write the points? So in every point there are three aspects, right? Subheading, elaboration, substantiation. If you have the example or data for substantiation, there what you do, you combine your subheading and elaboration, prepare a short sentence and substantiate. If you don't have the example, in that case you provide the subheading and you provide the elaboration. ठीक है? Now coming to the next aspect, that is point generation. And now this is the beginner level of the Animesh, again, which he has written in the January. Again, no structuring with respect to introduction. Also in main body also, if you can see the points ka uska length, because what he is doing, he is going for the subheading, he is going for the elaboration, and then he is going for the substantiation. So because of which the dimension coverage hampers. राइट, सो 15 मार्कर में उसके 8 ही पॉइंट्स आएंगे. ठीक है, बट यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे तो जैसे दिस आंसर वी हैव ऑलरेडी सीन. ठीक है, नाउ द नेक्स्ट एस्पेक्ट ऑफ द मेन बॉडी इज द डायमेंशन फ्रेमवर्क. अभी तक हमने देखा कि इंट्रोडक्शन कैसे करना है, देन पॉइंट्स कैसे लिखने हैं, that is subheading, elaboration, substantiation. You have to use any two of these three in every point. ठीक है, now the third aspect of the main body, how to generate the points itself. ठीक है, लिखना कैसे है अभी हमें समझ आया, बट क्या लिखना है, ठीक है, what dimensions to cover or what points to write, there your frameworks will come into play. Right, there are multiple frameworks, जैसे PESTLE framework हो गया, Stakeholder framework हो गया, you have the Temporal framework. Temporal as in if you apply the Temporal framework for any scheme or any government policy, so that is policy formulation, policy implementation, policy monitoring and feedback on that particular policy. Right, so this is the Temporal framework. Stakeholder में with respect to that particular policy, if they have asked the impact of any particular policy, so while generating the points on the impact, what you have to do, you simply have to think about the stakeholders involved, right? जैसे suppose if the question they ask, what is the impact of government's policy of reservation or government's policy of affirmative action, right? You simply apply the stakeholder framework. So impact on the poor's, impact on the downtrodden section, that is SC/ST or Dalits, impact on the women, right? Impact on the rural poor youths. ठीक है, so different stakeholder में आपके कौन से impact हो गए. So based upon the stakeholder you can generate the points, or you can apply the PESTLE also. ठीक है, so political, if they ask you the causes of something, ठीक है, so what were the causes behind the Quit India movement, you can simply apply the PESTLE. So political causes, right, कि World War II and the British reluctance to devolve power to Indians. Economic causes, the economic causes will involve this the wartime hardships, right? Similarly, social causes or any technological causes, legal, environmental. On the basis of that, you have to generate the points. This is precisely what toppers do. ठीक है, लेट मी शो यू द एग्जांपल्स. कि जैसे अगर आप अनिमेश का आंसर देखोगे और दिस इज अगेन द आंसर ऑफ अनिमेश, द सेम आंसर व्हिच वी हैव सीन. ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी व्हाट दे हैड आस्क्ड कि द इंटीग्रेट एनवायरमेंटल सोशल एंड गवर्नेंस नॉर्म्स. ठीक है, so basically if you see, the question was on ESG norms. So the benefits wala jo part hai on the second page, he has simply classified based upon the environmental, social and governance only. ठीक है, so simply ESG के components आपके जो है environmental, social and governance, उसी को he has made the subheading and based upon that he has generated the points. Similarly, अगर आप this is the answer of Shruti Sharma. ठीक है, so where she has used the sectional approach. Indian culture got as much influenced by foreign culture as it is influenced them. So basically what they are asking, the influence of foreign culture on India and Indian influence on foreign culture. Okay, so that was her demand understanding of the question. Now to generate the points, simply she has used the sectional approach. So core theme of the question is Indian culture. So what are the different components or the sections within Indian culture? So culture में कौन से sections आते हैं? Language, right? Dress, food habits, language, music, dance, right? यही आपके एस्पेक्ट्स आएंगे, राइट? किसी भी कल्चर के कौन से कंपोनेंट्स क्या क्या होते हैं कि लैंग्वेज, रिलीजन, लिटरेचर, right, your attire or the dress, your food habits, right, your art, your architecture, music, dance, painting. इनमें से जो भी पॉइंट्स के आपके पास सब्सटेंशिएशन है, you simply use those points, right? So influence of foreign culture also, अगर आप देखोगे, she has highlighted the points on the dress, language, art, music and so Indian influence, again, language, dress, science and knowledge. Right? So based upon the different sections of the culture, she has simply generated the points. Okay. Similarly, अगर आप stakeholder approach use करोगे, so what is the question? The question is basically asking कि Nehru report, ठीक है, the first effort to frame the constitution was nothing more than uneasy compromises. Right, so basically they are asking how Nehru report is a compromise. why she wrote India influence on foreign culture. No, it has been asked. If you read the question, Indian culture got as much influenced by foreign cultures, that is, influence of foreign culture on India, as it has influenced them. That is, how India has influenced foreign culture. ठीक है, अगर आप क्वेश्चन को डिवाइड करोगे टू पार्ट्स में, सो इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ फॉरेन कल्चर ऑन इंडिया एंड इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ इंडियन कल्चर ऑन फॉरेन, बोथ द डिमांड्स आर देयर. ठीक है, यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे तो नेहरू रिपोर्ट वाज नथिंग मोर देन अ कॉम्प्रोमाइज. सो व्हाट शी हैज यूज्ड द स्टेक होल्डर अप्रोच. So who were the stakeholders during that time? It was Britishers, it was Congress, and it was Muslim League, right? And the other sections within Congress like socialists and conservative, right? So uneasy compromises. How she has generated the points between Britishers and Indians, between Congress and Muslim League, between socialists and conservatives. So based upon the different stakeholders, she has generated the points. And as the directive is critically analyzed, you have to give the counter argument also that Nehru report was not a compromise, but it has its unique value. So this is her counter argument, how it was a major breakthrough. Right. So this is how, using the frameworks, you can generate your points. Okay, without the framework, you won't be able to write, or you won't be able to cover these many dimensions within the time constraint. So आपको 7 मिनट में 10 मार्कर लिखना है एंड 11 मिनट्स में 15 मार्कर आंसर लिखना है. So to write 10 to 11 points or 15 to 18 points, you need to have the frameworks ready. और वो frameworks आपके ready तभी होंगे when you will study as per the micro themes. So हर एक micro theme का PYQ आपको पकड़ के you need to develop the answer writing framework, right? कि जैसे suppose आपका micro theme है federalism, so your answer writing framework will be the PIES approach, right? So on any question on the federalism, you have to apply that framework. And so PIES is basically political, institutional, economic, social. So based upon that, you have to generate the points, right? Similarly, in society, on the any questions on the impact on the women or tribals or any such questions, you can use the PESTLE framework. So micro theme wise आपको आपके frameworks ready रखने हैं. ठीक है, that ये clear है how to generate the points? Any doubts? Yes. ठीक है, so in the first aspect of your art, which is the structuring part, okay, so the demand understanding of the question based upon that IBC framework, and for generating of the points you will be using the answer writing frameworks. ये clear है? Any doubts till now? ठीक है. Yes, types of diagram will come into presentation aspect. Okay, so building the frameworks will require the work. So see, only when you will do the active learning. ठीक है, so passive learning as in simply book उठाया पढ़ लिया, वैसे passive learning नहीं करना है. ठीक है, what you have to do is basically you have to study as per the micro theme, right? So every micro theme का आपके पास PYQ ready होना चाहिए, उस पे आपका brainstorming होना चाहिए. ठीक है, this is precisely what we do in the Smash PYQ, right? So in this Smash PYQ, basically this is what we do. So in this, so last 8 years of the PYQ, उसकी हम live answer writing करते हैं. So around 600 plus PYQs का हमारे sessions में live answer writing होता है कि where we do the brainstorming, that is the IBC framework, and हर एक micro theme wise I give you the toppers answers. So based upon that toppers answers you understand the presentation, you understand their styles, and जो हमारे X factor notes है and the answer writing framework that I give for every micro theme, through that आपका content build होता है. So basically in this what we do, we cover all the 5 aspects of the art of answer writing. Right. Next aspect is, so after structuring, right, next aspect of your art is the presentation aspect. Okay. So in presentation aspect, basically what it involves is the diagrams, the graph, ठीक है, और the visibility of your key points. जैसे for example यहाँ पे अगर if you see the answer of आदित्य श्रीवास्तव, ठीक है, what basically he has done is कि जहां पे भी उसने एग्जाम्पल दिया है he has marked a triangle, और जहां पे भी उसके keywords हैं, what he has done, he has boxed his keywords. राइट. सो प्रेजेंटेशन का एस्पेक्ट सिर्फ ये नहीं होता, या फिर प्रेजेंटेशन का मीनिंग सिर्फ ये नहीं होता है कि यू यूज द डायग्राम्स और ग्राफ. प्रेजेंटेशन का एस्पेक्ट ये भी होता है कि यू एनहांस द विजिबिलिटी ऑफ योर की पॉइंट्स. ठीक है, कि द इवेल्युएटर इज गोइंग टू हैव अ वेरी लेस टाइम टू चेक योर आंसर. सो उसमें व्हाट यू हैव टू फोकस अपॉन, कि यू हैव टू फोकस अपॉन attracting the attention of the evaluator towards your key points. ठीक है, सो आपको इवेल्युएशन का ध्यान खींचना है आपके की पॉइंट्स पे. सो उसके लिए यू हैव टू इंप्रूव योर प्रेजेंटेशन. कि जैसे यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे, इफ यू जस्ट रीड ओनली द हाईलाइटेड पार्ट, ठीक है, यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल ऑफ हिज कीवर्ड्स. कि जैसे यहाँ पे इसने बुक मेंशन किया है तो ही हैज बॉक्स्ड. For every substantiation part, he has made a triangle. Okay, for every committee, he has made a box. At the end also, Kautilya's Yogakshema is his conclusion. For that also, he has made a box. Right, so presentation doesn't just involve the diagrams or graph. It also involves enhancing the visibility of your points. Okay. That. And this again, if you link it with any other art form, let's take the dance itself. So dance is not limited to the movement of the body. ठीक है, सिर्फ डांस कर लिया मतलब बॉडीली मूवमेंट तक लिमिटेड नहीं होता है. राइट, एवरी क्लासिकल डांस फॉर्म ऑल्सो इन्वॉल्व्स इलैबोरेटिव प्रेजेंटेशन एस्पेक्ट, विच इन्वॉल्व्स द अटायर, मेकअप हो गया, या फिर उनका बैकग्राउंड हो गया, लाइटिंग हो गया, म्यूजिक हो गया. Right, without the presentation aspect, none of the performing art is complete. Right, similarly, without the presentation aspect, your answer won't be complete. Okay, yes, arrow diagrams are fine, but again, if you are going with the arrow diagram, you have to ensure the consistency in it. So अगर आप Animesh के papers देखोगे, out of 20, in about 15 to 16 question, he has used the arrow diagrams. Okay, so that is his consistency, that is his style. Right, it is not mandatory to use the arrow diagram or to use the half moon, etc. But if you decide to use it, make it your own style. ठीक है, अगर आप Animesh के आंसर्स देखोगे तो उसमें कोई डायग्राम्स वगैरह ज्यादा नहीं है. He has simply used the standard structure, right, where he has written it into the point format. But उसने क्या किया है, जो भी उसका substantiation aspect है उसको properly box किया है to enhance the visibility. That is his style. Animesh का style अगर आप देखोगे तो he has used half moon or the arrow diagrams. Right, so based upon that you have to prepare your own style, and that style will be developed only with the practice. ठीक है, now अगर आप देखोगे, so this is the answer of Aditya Srivastav which he wrote in 2022. ठीक है, so यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे तो ये दिखने में ही अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है. You have to read the entire answer to get the grasp of what he wants to convey. Right? There are no boxes, nothing, no double underlining, no box, nothing. Right? Even अगर आप देखोगे तो एग्जाम्पल्स वगैरह भी उसने प्रॉपरली ट्रायंगल नहीं किया है या बॉक्स नहीं किया है. ठीक है, so with these answers, just because of the content, he got into the IPS. So in 2020 he got into the IPS, but when he focused upon the presentation aspect, this was his answer. अब यहाँ पे आप देखोगे हर एक सब्सटेंशिएशन को प्रॉपरली विजिबल है. सो एग्जाम्पल्स आर ऑल्सो प्रॉपरली सेग्रीगेटेड. पॉइंट्स के आगे ही वो नहीं लिख रहा है. ही इज राइटिंग द एग्जाम्पल्स इन द थर्ड लाइन. राइट, so then he is making the box for his keywords. So this presentation aspect enhance the aesthetic value of your answer. और इससे क्या होता है कि evaluator gets attracted towards your keywords and he feel pleased, right? And rather than with the same content, rather than giving 5 marks, he will give you 0.25 or 0.5 or extra marks. So rather than 5 marks, this answer will get 5.5 or 5.25 marks. So presentation is not going to give you that 5 marks. The 5 marks are going to come with your structuring, your demand addressing, and your content. But presentation is going to give you that extra 0.5 mark. Right? Or 4 GS paper में you will be writing 79 answers. Right? And 79 answers, 0.5 mark will make a difference of 39.5 marks. मतलब around 40 marks. So presentation आपको वो 5 marks नहीं देने वाला है. But presentation is going to give you that 0.5 mark. And that 0.5 mark will make a difference of 40 marks. और वही difference होता है टॉप 5 रैंक होल्डर में और जो रैंक होल्डर जिसका रैंक बियॉन्ड 100 या बियॉन्ड 200 आया है. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि रैंक होल्डर या टॉप 5 रैंक होल्डर्स को 1000 मार्क है, देन 6th रैंक होल्डर को डायरेक्टली 800 है. ठीक है, देयर इज अ डिफरेंस ऑफ मैक्सिमम 40 मार्क्स ओनली, एंड दैट कम्स विथ दिस एस्पेक्ट. सो अपार्ट फ्रॉम स्ट्रक्चरिंग, apart from content, it is the presentation aspect also which is equally important, right? And in presentation it's not just about the diagrams or graphs, it's also about the visibility of your key points. Okay, it is not just limited to Aditya Srivastav. If you see Animesh also. Okay, so presentation he has also used to enhance his dimension coverage. ठीक है, similarly this is Shruti Sharma. See how beautiful this answer looks, right? Content छोड़ो, you don't even read the content, right? But दिखने में ही कितना अच्छा लगता है, आप देख लो. ठीक है, अब if you come to the now IBC part, so cities are economic powerhouses and also ecological block holes, right? So introduction, again data based introduction, then economic powerhouse, ecological black holes. ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे एग्जाम्पल्स जहाँ पे भी दिए दे आर प्रॉपरली ट्रायंगल, कीवर्ड्स उनके प्रॉपरली हाईलाइटेड है. लेट्स सी हाउ ब्यूटीफुल इट लुक्स, राइट? सो इन दिस शी हैज एड्रेस्ड द फर्स्ट स्टेटमेंट. इन लाइट ऑफ दिस स्टेटमेंट, हाउ positive and negative aspects of urbanization interact with each other. Then the positive aspects of urbanization, negative aspects of urbanization, right? And their interaction. So for giving the interaction, she has used the interlinking part, because what they have asked ki how they are interlinked. So she has clearly established the interlinking. Right? This. And then way forward, with way forward, she has concluded. Okay, so this is how you present your answer. You focus upon what has been asked. So they have asked the interlinking. So for interlinking, what you need to highlight the interlinking between the two concepts. And for that, you can use the vicious cycle, you can use the virtuous cycle, right? And then positives, negatives आपको पूछे, simple, you can make a table on positive and negative. Okay, this is how the innovation in the presentation makes a difference. ठीक है, अगर आप ये सिंपल पॉइंट फॉर्मेट में लिखते हैं, even with the very good content, you will end up with 7 or 7.25 mark. But with this kind of the innovation and presentation, ठीक है, बिकॉज इवेल्युएटर ने अपने जो पॉइंट्स लिखे हैं वो सारे पॉइंट्स इवेल्युएटर ने कहीं ना कहीं पढ़े ही है. ठीक है, ही इज गोइंग टू इवेल्युएट मोर देन 1,000 कॉपीज. सो आपके जो पॉइंट्स है वो और किसी कॉपी में आने ही है. So he has already come across those points. But when he will see such kind of the presentation, where she has addressed each and every demand with innovation and good presentation, okay, he is going to give you extra 0.5 mark because for your that extra effort, for your creativity, for your innovation and for your presentation. Right? This is why it is called as an art. Simply जाके if you dump the information, you may get above average mark, but to get into the top 5, right, you have to treat answers as an art and you have to master that art, and that comes only with the practice. Okay, similarly the creativity and innovation, जैसे कि मैंने कहा creativity and innovation means every topper has his own style. ठीक है, कोई भी टॉपर का अगर आप आंसर देखोगे तो यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड हिज स्टाइल. जैसे हमने अनिमेश का देखा, आदित्य का देखा, वी ऑल्सो सॉ श्रुति शर्मा ऑल्सो, राइट? सो दे हैव देयर ओन यूनिक स्टाइल एंड दिस दे हैव डेवलप्ड थ्रू द प्रैक्टिस. अगर अनिमेश के आप इनिशियल आंसर्स जो मैंने दिखाए थे, इफ यू सी हिज इनिशियल आंसर्स, ठीक है, अगर मैं ये आंसर आपको दे दूं और बताओ ये किसका आंसर है, यू वोंट बी एबल टू टेल कि एनिमेश का है, बिकॉज इट इज जस्ट डंपिंग ऑफ द इंफॉर्मेशन इन आईबीसी फ्रेमवर्क. इवन दिस वेर ही रीच्ड रैंक होल्डर लेवल, सॉरी, ठीक है, नाउ दिस इफ आई टेल यू बताओ ये किसका है, यू विल बी इमीडिएटली एबल टू टेल कि दिस इज ऑफ अनिमेश, बिकॉज उसका जो अप्रोच है टू यूज द हाफ मून और टू बॉक्स द कीवर्ड्स, दिस is his own innovation and this he has implemented across the answers. ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी एक ही आंसर में किया है. अगर उनके 20 आंसर्स आप देखोगे तो 20 में से 16 to 17 में he has used the same framework. That means he has developed his own style and he has ensured the consistency in those. ठीक है, ऐसा नहीं है कि ओवर इनोवेशन किया है या फिर ओवर क्रिएटिविटी लाया है. ठीक है, he has developed his own style which is innovative, which is creative, और उसी को लेके उसने सारे आंसर्स लिखे. ऐसा नहीं है कि हर एक आंसर में he has used a different structure. ठीक है, so similarly you also have to develop your own style and again that will come only with the practice. ठीक है, Animesh is the prime example. This is his first answer. ठीक है, अगर हम if you see जो हमने पहले भी देखा था, ठीक है, so this first answer, no structuring, simply IBC, no his own style or stamp. This is the rank holder level. यहाँ पे भी देखोगे तो सिंपल इंट्रो, बॉडी, कंक्लूजन, फ्रेमवर्क है, डायमेंशन, कवरेज है. ठीक है, बट ये देखोगे दिस इज हिज स्टाइल. ये देख के आपको पता चलेगा दिस इज अनिमेश. ठीक है, सो इफ यू सी his first answer was written on the 18th of February 2022. ठीक है, this was in January 2023, where he reached the rank holder level. After this, he shifted to the prelims, and after the prelims, in the span of 3 months, he developed his style. उसको consistently apply किया, and this is the level of his answer before the means. ठीक है? Now, the next aspect of it, that is the creativity and innovation. ठीक है, जैसे कि मैंने कहा, every topper has his own style. किसी दो टॉपर के आप सिमिलर स्ट्रक्चर में आंसर नहीं बता पाओगे. ठीक है, सिमिलरली अगर इफ आई इसका मैंने फेस भी रोक दिया, ठीक है, ऑफ क्रिकेटर, इमीडिएटली सिंपली जस्ट सीइंग द पोस्चर यू विल बी एबल टू टेल कि हु इज दैट क्रिकेटर. ठीक है, हु इज दैट क्रिकेटर? यस, किसको पता है? ठीक है, हु इज दैट क्रिकेटर? सूर्य कुमार यादव, राइट? अभी आपको पता है. वाई? फेस तो नहीं दिख रहा है. Why? Because that is his trademark shot, right? So that is his own innovation, or that is his own creativity, or that is his own style, right? This is Mona Lisa painting. Okay, who is the painter? Yes, who is the painter of Mona Lisa? Da Vinci. Okay, how do you know? Because of his style only, right? That means each and every artist that is there, okay, has his own style in his creativity and his innovation. Similarly, each and every topper has his own style of creativity and innovation, and that you have to find. ठीक है, आपको blindly किसी का follow नहीं करना है. ठीक है, you have to develop your own. Okay, you can take the reference of the toppers answers. ठीक है, through that you adopt whichever you find relevant, or whichever you find more suitable to you. And once you adopt that, you just practice that throughout your preparation cycle, then only up you will get the mastery over it, and वो actual आपका पेपर में application हो जाएगा, right? So जैसे यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे, so this is answer of Ishita Kishore, right? The same question which we of the introduction जो मैंने दिखाया था, to discuss how cultural traditions from various regions of India get reflected in regional music, right? So introduction just rephrasing, but उसके बाद she has used the map to highlight the regional music. ठीक है, उसमें भी अगर आप देखोगे तो ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है. तो हिंदुस्तानी म्यूजिक इन नॉर्थ इंडिया, कार्नेटिक म्यूजिक इन साउथ इंडिया, ट्राइबल म्यूजिक इन द ट्राइबल हार्टलैंड ऑफ सेंट्रल इंडिया. ठीक है, देन इन द हिमालयन रीजन यू हैव पहाड़ी गीत. ठीक है, अगर आप देखोगे तो कंटेंट वाइज आप नहीं कह पाओगे कि यार ये दिस इज वेरी रिच इन कंटेंट. ठीक है, ये सारे पॉइंट्स आपको भी पता है, right? All of you know Hindustani music is in North India, Carnatic music in South India. Okay, in Central India, there is majority of the tribal live in the Central India. Okay, then Pahadi means Himalaya. ठीक है, सिंपली उसको उसने मैप में रिप्रेजेंट किया है. नो, यू अवॉइड यूजिंग टू पेन्स. ठीक है, सिमिलरली दिस इज अनिमेश with respect to corruption. So Vora committee highlighted the nexus between bureaucracy, capitalist and or bureaucracy, business and politicians. So rather than simply writing it into the point format, what he has used a triangular diagram. Or the best innovation way, I found it into the answer of Shubham Kumar, where he has used the temporal framework. ठीक है, टेम्पोरल फ्रेमवर्क कैसे? इफ यू रीड द क्वेश्चन कि persistence of various forms of violence against women in India. ठीक है, so various forms of violence against the women, what he has used the temporal framework, where he has highlighted violence from or before birth to old age. ठीक है. सो बिफोर बर्थ फीमेल infanticide, as infant hunger problem, during childhood sexual violence, puberty violence at school. ठीक है. देन मैरिड वुमेन डोमेस्टिक वायलेंस. ठीक है. और डाउरी वायलेंस और वायलेंस एट वर्क प्लेस, ओल्ड एज, नॉट सोशल सिक्योरिटी एंड ओल्ड एज होम्स, राइट. सो मेनी लिव्स ऑन स्ट्रीट्स. अगेन अगर आप देखोगे द पॉइंट्स दैट ही हैज रिटन, ठीक है, तो पॉइंट्स कोई रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है. ठीक है. पॉइंट्स, ये सारे पॉइंट्स आपको भी पता है कि what kind of violence happen against the woman. So before birth, again infanticide, सभी को पता है. As infant stage की hunger, during childhood sexual violence, married women domestic violence or the dowry violence, or sexual harassment at workplace, old age, again they lack the social security, or violence against the elderlies. ठीक है. what he has simply done, he has arranged them into the temporal framework और उनका linking he has established, right. अगर elaborative points अगर आप देखोगे तो they are very generic, but because of the presentation only, ठीक है, the life cycle approach that he has used, because of that presentation only, the evaluator is going to give him extra 1 mark for this. ठीक है. so this is how toppers become toppers. It's not just the dimensions or not just the content that they bring, it's also the presentation, it's also the innovation or creativity that they bring. ठीक है. similarly, or the master of this creativity, innovation और presentation is श्रुति शर्मा मैम. ठीक है. अगर आप उनके आंसर्स देखोगे, ठीक है, so rather the level of the detailing in her maps. ठीक है. सो जैसे क्वेश्चन इज ऑन दी contributions of bhakti movement toward development of literature in vernacular language is significant. So what 99.9% of the aspirants will do, development of devotional literature, they will simply write the points. They will give bhakti saints as the subheading and their literature in vernacular language in elaboration. But how she has brought the innovation, rather than writing it into the point, she has used the map, right. So Mirabai in Rajasthani vernacular language, Eknath Tukaram Abhangas in Marathi, Alwars in Tamil, right. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengali, then Sankaradeva in Assamese, Mulik Muhammad Jaisi, Padmavati in Avdi, right. Kabir in Brij Bhasha, Guru Nanak in Punjab. नाउ जो भी एस्पिरेंट जिसने डिसेंट लेवल का भी स्टडी किया है, उसको ये सारे पॉइंट्स पता है. ही विल ऑल्सो राइट इट इनटू द पॉइंट फॉर्मेट, राइट. ही विल ऑल्सो गेट 2 marks for this, for the first demand of the question. But because of this presentation aspect, rather than 2, she is going to get 3 marks, right. That is the difference that a presentation or creativity or innovation makes. ठीक है. आप मुझे बताओ इनमें से कौन सा पॉइंट बहुत रॉकेट साइंस है या आपको पता नहीं है. ठीक है. इवन इफ यू हैव द फर्स्ट रीडिंग और द 1 or 2 रीडिंग्स ऑफ द हिस्ट्री, यू विल ऑल्सो नो दीज पॉइंट्स, राइट. ठीक है. सो दिस इज हाउ यू हैव टू. सिमिलरली यहाँ पे भी अगर आप देखोगे द क्वेश्चन, रीजंस फॉर राइजिंग ट्रेंड इन द इंसिडेंट्स एंड वाइड स्प्रेड ऑकरेंस ऑफ landslips in hilly terrains of the country, right. So rather than simply giving the reasons, what she has done, she has again classified the hilly terrains. First Himalaya, second Western Ghats, and she has classified the reasons. ठीक है. अब ये reasons आपको भी पता है, ठीक है, टेक्टोनिक एक्टिविटी, हेवी रेनफॉल, deforestation, right? You can classify it under the natural anthropogenic causes also, right? But what she has done it into the innovative way by using the map. Okay, so this is how they make these simple things beautiful and creative. And that is why अगर आप देखोगे तो जो भी toppers है, top 5 rank holders, always you will find at least 7 to 8 copies of theirs which they have written before prelims and mains. So between that span of 3 months itself, they have written at least 7 to 8 papers. ठीक है, वो कंटेंट के लिए नहीं लिखते हैं, they write those papers for this aspect, that is to improve their structuring, to bringing that presentation aspect, to bringing that creativity and innovation. और ये आपके ऑटोमेटिकली नहीं आते हैं. इफ यू थिंक ओके आई विल ऑल्सो डू दिस एंड आई विल डायरेक्टली डू दिस इनटू द एग्जाम, नहीं होने वाला है. Because the maximum time that you are going to get for brainstorming is 1.5 minute. 1.5 minute में आपको इंट्रोडक्शन सोचना है, कंक्लूजन सोचना है, पॉइंट्स सोचने हैं, प्रेजेंटेशन सोचना है. ठीक है, so until and unless you have the practice in 1.5 minute, brainstorming and writing these kinds of the answers is not possible. ठीक है, and that is why we have this Smash PYQ program कि जिसमें जनवरी एंड तक, so from 1st of October to 3rd of February, we write 600 plus answers of the PYQ. So last 8 years के जो भी PYQs है, each and every PYQ will be doing the live answer writing, and for every micro theme I will be providing you the compilation of the toppers. ठीक है, so this is Shruti Sharma, right? Last or the second last is the knowledge aspect. ठीक है, so see composition and the structure. So ये जो aspect है, ठीक है, this is going to determine your intro, body, conclusion, framework. This is going to determine your structuring, that is in main body the headings, right, on the basis of main body demands of the question. And this is also going to determine the number of points that you are going to write. Okay, the presentation aspect and creativity and innovation, that is going to add just 1 mark into your answer, right? But ये जो aspects है, ठीक है, content and knowledge, the bulk of your scoring, that is the 90%, is going to come from these two aspects. ठीक है, so the most important aspect is the knowledge or the content aspect. There are no rough sheets or the space given, or even if they give you the rough sheet or the space, you don't have the time to prepare or to do the rough work in the actual papers. ठीक है, so the knowledge aspect basically involves your content, right? And any art form is incomplete without the knowledge, right? कि जैसे it requires the consistency in your preparation, it requires the hard work. ठीक है, आपका भारत रत्न पंडित भीमसेन जोशी को इसीलिए मिला था, because of his hard work, because of his knowledge, or because of his content of the classical music, right? Just having the 1 or 2 good songs, ठीक है, which are very popular, doesn't earn you a Bharat Ratna. ठीक है, it requires a hard work, a knowledge base and the content. ठीक है, similarly आपका रैंक सिर्फ डिमांड अंडरस्टैंडिंग, स्ट्रक्चरिंग या प्रेजेंटेशन पे नहीं आने वाला है. Your rank is going to come with the content that you will be putting, ठीक है, using those presentations and structures. ठीक है, and for that we have the X Factor notes. ठीक है, those are the most dense material in the market and most comprehensive material. You can make X Factor as your single source for your entire UPSC preparation or for all the subjects. ठीक है, those are dense, those are very comprehensive, and those are very content heavy. But if you aspire to be into the top 5, you have to cover those. You have to prepare the short notes from those. You have to combine it with the practice and the consistent brainstorming over the PYQs. ठीक है, so this is the level of the, जैसे इस particular answer में आप देखोगे, leave alone the structure, leave alone the presentation, but if you just see the content, so in the one single 10 marker question, what he has the mention of the book, he has the mention of the specific examples, he has the mention of the 2 committees or 3 committees, he has the mention of the global best practice, right? And at the end, he has the mention of the Kautilya's Yogakshema principle, right? So it's not just the presentation or the structuring, it is content also, which makes them the topper. And that again, content is the consistent process. For developing the good content, what you need is the proper process. ठीक है, जो अभी मैं बताऊंगा कि with what process you need to study so that all the aspects of the answer writing, कि brainstorming aspect हो गया, या फिर आपका presentation aspect हो गया, या फिर creativity aspect हो गया, या फिर content aspect हो गया, all those aspects should be developed simultaneously. ठीक है, 99% of the aspirants, what they do is they give the priority to the content. आपका जैसे माइंडसेट होता है कि आई विल फर्स्ट रीड द नोट्स, देन आई विल प्रिपेयर माय शॉर्ट नोट्स, और उसके बाद मैं आंसर राइटिंग करूंगा या उसके बाद मैं आंसर राइटिंग करूंगी. देयर इज अ ह्यूज आंसर राइटिंग inertia among the toppers, not toppers, among the aspirants, because especially among the beginners, right? But the fundamental aspect which you need to understand is that your answer writing practice and your content building need to go hand in hand. जैसे मैंने अनिमेश का ही दिखाया था, the first answer which he wrote was in January 2022, when he started his preparation. ठीक है, सो ये जो माइंडसेट में जो भी लोग हैं कि आई विल फर्स्ट डेवलप द कंटेंट, आई विल फर्स्ट डेवलप माय नोट्स एंड देन आई विल स्टार्ट माय आंसर राइटिंग. ठीक है, फॉर देम यूपीएससी इज गोइंग टू बी अ 5-year प्लान, एंड इवन आफ्टर दैट 5-year प्लान इट इज गोइंग टू बी अ फेल्यूर. ठीक है, जैसे मेजॉरिटी ऑफ आवर 5-year प्लान वेर फेल्यूर, सिमिलरली दिस 5-year प्लान इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बी अ फेल्यूर, because of the poor approach and poor strategy. ठीक है, जैसे अनिमेश का भी आपने देखा, it took him 1 year to get from the level of beginner to the rank holder. I'm not saying topper. टॉपर लेवल को आने के लिए उसके बाद 6 महीने और गए. ठीक है, if you see, or if you want to see, this is the level of the practice that Animesh had done. So these are just his Samachar Mantar answers. So within 1 year, he had written 43 Samachar Manthan papers. So Samachar Manthan papers आपके weekend पे होते थे, and every Samachar Manthan paper had 10 questions. So in the span of 1 year itself, he had written 430 answers. Leave alone the sectional test, वो तो अलग है, जो मेंस एसेंशियल प्रोग्राम के टेस्ट्स वगैरह है वो तो अलग है. These are just the weekly Samachar Manthan tests which he wrote, right? And like any other art or craft, without practice you can't get mastery over it, right? जैसे even if you have the theoretical understanding of the Bharatnatyam, ठीक है, कि what are the steps involved, or even if I give you the good presentation, even if I give you a good makeup, even if I give you the good attire, ठीक है, और even after having the good theoretical understanding of all aspects of the Bharatanatyam, without practice you can't dance properly. So it takes around 12 years, right? जिनको भी डांस में हॉबी है, they will know it takes around 12 years to get mastery in Bharatanatyam. Similarly, it takes around 8 years to get mastery in the Kalripayattu, which is the Malayalam martial art. Right. So the point is कि your strategy has to be simultaneous coverage of content, notes, and answer writing. Okay, which is precisely what we do in the Smash PYQ. जैसे मैंने पहले भी बताया कि from the 1st of October we'll be starting with the Smash PYQ, where all the aspects of the answer writing we'll be doing simultaneously. So simultaneously as in there will be around 60 lectures. In those, in every lecture, we have divided the questions as per the micro theme. So we will cover one micro theme every lecture. Suppose we take federalism as a micro theme. So in federalism, in last 8 years, there are 10 questions. So in that, at the beginning, what we will be doing or what I will be giving you is the answer writing framework. So at the beginning, I'll be explaining the answer writing framework on the questions of federalism. And then we'll be doing the live answer writing of the 10 PYQs of federalism from last 8 years. Right. So in that, we'll be doing the brainstorming. We'll be doing the live answer writing, where I will be doing the live writing of the answers. Through that, you will also understand how to write, how to cover the dimensions or the important dimensions from the federalism topic. Then I'll be giving the X factor notes on the federalism. From that, and on the basis of the answer writing framework, you have to prepare your short notes. Then in that session itself, we will be also discussing the toppers answers on the federalism. So what we have done is we have compiled the answers of top 5 rank holders. ठीक है, सिर्फ AR1 से AR5 तक, और कुछ एक्सेप्शनल केसेस जिनके उस पर्टिकुलर पेपर में बहुत अच्छे मार्क्स थे. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आदित्य श्रीवास्तव has 132 in GS2 and AR13 or 14 Medha Anand has 131 in GS2. So in GS2 I have picked her answers also. So federalism के सिर्फ toppers के around 7 to 8 answers. So that is analyzing those answers is going to give you few of the ideas with respect to federalism. And then after finishing particular chapter, you have to attempt the tests. Right. So in daily or the alternate day, every session, you will be doing the live brainstorming. You will be understanding the answer writing framework. You will be writing answers with me. And in the gap of the next day, you will be reading that particular topic from the X Factor notes and preparing your short notes and reading the toppers answers on that particular micro theme. Right. So this is how your strategy should be, or this is how your answer writing or the notes building, reading and answer writing needs to go hand in hand. Okay, so if you are really serious about your 2026 attempt, okay, make sure कि जो भी strategy या schedule आप बना रहे हो for the next 4 months, ठीक है, simple strategy, you have October, November, December, January. In the span of 4 months, what you are going to do, you will be simply doing one paper each month. So उसमें बस ethics को आपको 20 days sufficient है. You can allocate that extra 10 days for GS2 and GS3. So October we will be doing GS2, November we will be doing GS4 ethics, December we will be doing GS3 and January we will be doing GS1. Because जो हम हिस्ट्री एंड ज्योग्राफी प्रीलिम्स के लिए पढ़ने वाले हैं वही आप मेंस के लिए हम जो पढ़ेंगे या आंसर राइटिंग करेंगे वही कंटेंट आपको प्रीलिम्स में भी आएगा. राइट. सो मेक श्योर कि व्हाट एवर स्ट्रेटजी यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग, It involves all the three aspects, that is writing, notes making and brainstorming. Okay, this approach is basically for the mains and specifically for the utilization of the next 4 months, this October, November, December and January. So if you follow this approach, so by January end, okay, your entire 4 GS papers will be ready with notes, with practice, with toppers answers analysis, right? Based upon that, you will have your own creative and innovative ideas. You will have your own style of the answer writing. Uske baad, after the mains, all you have to do is consolidate your notes and revise your notes and practice. Right? So this is how you have to develop your strategy. Right? On any art form का जो भी होता है, or to get mastery into the any art form, ठीक है, you need to understand its methodology, you need to practice its methodology, and you need to bring your own innovation into it. ठीक है, you need to stamp your own authority or own identity into that to make that particular art a masterpiece. Right? This is how toppers make their answers a masterpiece. Right? So that's all from my side.